Coach, how we doing?
I'm good. How you guys?
We're doing all right.
What's going on?
It's just in case you didn't show up. Just in case you were no-show.
Nah, I'm gonna show
I
up.
was taking over.
I'm showing up.
I did answer the first two questions perfectly, so no pressure.
Well, perfect. I don't have to answer these then, right?
All right, Coach, so I'll ask you questions, then you'll answer them right to camera.
Got it.
Looking back to January 22nd, the day you were hired, how would you describe what the last 4 months have been like for you adjusting to life as the head coach of the New York Jets?
It's been outstanding. A lot of work that had to be done.
It's once again about resetting the culture here. If Aaron Glenn can bring that, then the rest of the dominoes on the field fall and we can talk about those. But that's really what they need, is somebody who wanted this job and someone who wanted to take command of this job.
I think sometimes the rebuild feels inauthentic. And with Aaron Glenn, I feel it.
Like you can see that everybody's starting to pull together for one common cause. And that's what you want as a football team. That's what you want as an organization, that we're all rowing the boat the same way.
His passion. We sit in these meetings and we will start watching a player. You know he likes this player, he hears the reads in the background, and he's passionate about guys, you know it.
How do you feel about the options at 7 right now when you look at it from?
I feel good. I feel it's wide open right now.
You know, Darren's done an excellent job of explaining the vision that he has, as well as Coach Glenn, with the type of players he's looking for.
Jets.
Man, it's been a long time since I've said this, but
AG and I both agree we want to just add smart, tough, aggressive, resilient players to this team.
But I think that's the idea, is stay quiet, build the culture, get really young players that we can develop over the next couple of years.
Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. So we're built for this. Here's the first thing that I want to make sure that I get across is I don't want to collect players. I want to build a football team. And I think there's a huge difference. And what I mean by that, I just don't want to get a group of athletes in here and say, let's go play football. There's a purpose for every person that's brought into this building. And there's a reason why they're in this building. And that goes the same with the coaches. It goes the same way with anybody that's a part of what we're doing. And I want to make sure that this is a very intentional process. And every player that's brought in this building, and there's a reason why he's here, they have to fit exactly what we're trying to create. And that's why I say I don't want to just collect players. I want to build a team. And that's what we're in the process of doing.
It's been very natural. AG and I have a lot of conversation daily about the team, about what we're building here and the culture we want to establish. And that starts with AG. And I think we're on the path to doing that.
We got some breaking news for you guys. It is official. Steve Wilks will be named as the official defensive coordinator for the New York Jets.
The Jets just got a special teams coordinator, baby, Chris Banjo.
And he now has his offensive coordinator. It is Tanner Engstrand, who comes to the Jets by way of the Detroit Lions.
Man, coaches get recycled in this league a ton, and I want to really take my time and make sure that I vet every coach and make sure the things that I was looking for in the coaching staff is somewhat similar to what I'm looking for when it comes to players. But on one hand, I want to make sure there's two things that the coaches have, and one is the ability to teach. And that's who we are. We're teachers. And the best teachers are the ones that can make it a complex situation and be able to teach that in a simplistic manner. And I want to be able to find guys that can do that. And the next is development. That has got to be the backbone of this organization in general, is development. And that's from guys that are sixth, seventh round picks, and you get those guys to play like their third and second round picks. Those are third round picks. You get those guys to play like their first round picks. And hopefully the first round picks, they end up wearing a gold jacket one day. So those two things are the things that I look for in coaches. And I think the guys that we have are going to do a great job of that.
If you're going to start this thing and you're going to go in the direction of Aaron Glenn and you have to make all these changes, I think it needs to also exist at quarterback.
I am not surprised that the Jets are moving on, and so are they better off? I have to make it a sweep, I think, yes.
Really? Yeah. AG and I had a lot of dialogue, a lot of conversations, a lot of good thoughts, and just felt at the end of the day it was the best thing for the Jets moving forward, just going a different direction at the quarterback position.
Good afternoon. As I said in my press conference, I'm very grateful to be the head coach of this team. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the forward thinking of this group and what we're going to do as a team. So we're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it.
You know, I felt for a while that Aaron Glenn was ready to be head coach. I felt when he was going to be a head coach, he'd be really good. And I'm happy for him that ends up being with the Jets, which, you know, I think you guys probably know, like, this is where he wanted to be.
This is not going to be something that's new to him. Like, he'll be going to be ready for this. He's going to be like anybody else. He's going to have to learn on the fly, and there'll be things that you're not going to know what you don't know until you're in it. But he's going to do phenomenal, man. AG's a superstar.
AG and I are making every decision that we think is the best for the team now and from now on to win games.
Mooj was just instrumental in me the last 4 years, you know, just kind of my go-to guy. I always felt like he was a hidden gem, and I was surprised why teams weren't talking to him. He's really smart, really intelligent. He has a plan. He knows what he wants. He knows how to build. So you really have a good one.
I think Mooj understands because the Broncos really filled out that 53-man roster, so he gets it. And I think the Jets are going to compete this year. I think the roster has too much talent where it's not a throwaway year.
Right. I think with AG coming in there, I think you look at what he witnessed in Detroit. Yeah. More so to me than any magic scheme was they got a bunch of physical, aggressive, passionate football players that match the culture that they instituted with their head coach.
Listen, I look for guys that love football. I look for guys that are highly competitive. And I look for guys that endear themselves to their teammates. And those are some of the things that you just don't be able to scout. But you really have to dig in and find out who the player is. And when you have those qualities, man, it overcomes a lot of things. So we continue to look for those things. And, man, just the competitive spirit of any man that goes up there and play, like, overcomes a lot. And that's what we look for.
JT, this is 4.
How's everybody doing? What's good? What's up, man? How you doing? A lot of people.
I do think going front 7 makes sense if that's the direction they wanted to go.
I pride myself on playing the run and the pass because I feel like that's what a complete D lineman does.
I think I bring energy, effort, versatility, and I feel like when the biggest moments come around, that's where I play at my best.
Right. I know time is the enemy, and you don't get a lot of it. So I had a plan for going into my junior year to make sure I'm in this position by the end of the year.
You have to be built a certain way to be able to play the tight end position. I know that Tyler Warren's going to sound like, you know, somebody who is just built to play the game of football at the pro level. Like, I already know that.
Kind of what I try and be as a football player is unselfish. Catching 15 passes in a game or having 100 run block reps, that's, you know, going to do either of those to the best of my ability.
And I don't know if you guys got to hear his press conference. I loved everything he said.
There's no reason why I couldn't play tackle. I think I'm more than athletic enough and I have the tools to.
Cam Ward's the best quarterback in this draft, and I think he's also the most pro-ready.
Being able to talk with their head coach for the first time was exciting. And so, you know, I think the Jets are, you know, not too far off. Maybe a couple pieces, you know, I'm just hoping I can be one of them.
Big question mark in the safety room is the biggest deal. And Glenn feels very strongly about having a safety who can play the nickel. When he was with New Orleans and when he was with Detroit, they really prioritized that position.
Yeah, I think I could just come in and, you know, bring that juice, be able to move around, be a chess piece, so to speak.
I was able to capitalize on the system I was in, and credit to all my teammates.
My anticipation is that they stay put, and now they're looking at some value elsewhere. You know, there's talent to be had certainly in the top 10 for sure.
What do you think about the talent overall, like just in this draft?
I think it's a good draft. Like I said, I really got more exposure to it 2 weeks ago when all the college scouts were in the building. But overall, I think it's a good draft.
What's up, fellas? Doing good. Congrats. Close.
I failed on one thing.
He didn't go this way. Oh, he didn't go that way.
Yeah, the NFL Combine is one of the most important pieces for us in putting this puzzle together. You know, it's an opportunity to get in front of these guys, shake their hands, meet them, talk to them, get to know them on a personal basis. We hear about their passion for the game, we hear about their learning ability, we hear about their personalities, and to really sit down here in the suite and get to know them and get to hear them talk and establish a relationship with them is huge for us.
This part of the process, as far as the Combine, is important for us. As the scouts have put in a lot of work throughout the year. to gather all the information. We've had our meetings, and the combine is kind of that icing on the cake to answer some of the questions you may have on this particular player through interviews and seeing how they do through the position drills.
One of the first things we did was we got all the coaches and the scouts in a room to talk about what we'll be looking for in Jets players moving forward. You know, some position-specific stuff, some schematic things, and just make up what we're looking for in players. It's a really good process, some good dialogue there.
You know, the cool thing about us for scouts is we just want it laid out for us. So, you know, Darren's done an excellent job of explaining the vision that he has, as well as Coach Glenn with the type of players he's looking for. And it makes our job easier because we know exactly what to look for. And, you know, there's no gray area.
It's important for us to bring in smart and tough players. You know, we use the term STAR, you know, smart, tough, aggressive, and resilient type of players. And so through the meetings that we've had in February, that message has been put forth to our scouts, and the same thing with our pro meetings with the coaches, that message has been put out there.
We're going to bring in competition at every position. It's not just the quarterback position. That can be D tackle, DB, linebacker, doesn't matter. The nature of this game is competing, and we're going to do that at every position.
I think at 7 right now, we're going to be open to potentially moving up for a player or moving back. All those options are on the table right now.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. There's several players that we like at that spot that we feel that can be a major part of our success as a football team. You know, we've had a lot of discussions on guys that we feel that can, you know, fit in that position, but we're going to have a whole lot more. You know, we're not finished. This is just kind of, I will say, the third quarter of everything.
And whichever one of those players makes it to where we are, we're going to make sure we have a vision for the player. I think that's really important, is how he fits in and knowing our team and how can this player help us both on and off the field.
And then this is going to be a huge week for the NFL, by the way. It already has been.
Yesterday.
It was a huge weekend, and it's going to be, today is the 12 p.m. tampering situation.
We have some breaking Jets news. Jamien Sherwood is back with the New York Jets on a 3-year, $45 million contract. Let's go. The first big move of Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn's career here.
How you feeling, 4-4?
Amazing. Sensational. Blessed.
It's hard not to feel good for Jamien Sherwood after this contract extension from the Jets, because he really is a feel-good story. A fifth-round pick who played safety in college that the Jets converted to a linebacker as a developmental project, played nothing more really than special team snaps early in his career, then finally stepped in as a starter on defense, but as that third linebacker opposite C.J. Mosley and Quincy Williams. But there's reason to believe that he is an ascending player and only going to get better in Steve Wilks' defense, because one of Sherwood's strengths, maybe his biggest strength, it is his mind.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Hey.
Congratulations.
Appreciate you.
Of course, man. We'll have you sit here for the signing photos first.
Well, it hasn't sunk in, but you know, it's like a surreal moment. My high school coach always used to tell me, like, it's not about the first one, it's about the second one. And you know, being in high school, you're not aware of like what he's talking about. So the fact to actually get this opportunity, to get this chance to sit there and sign that, again, it's just one of those unreal moments.
All right, perfect.
What was your mindset heading into this offseason, knowing that you had an expiring contract and you were coming off a career year?
Praying that I got to stay here.
Just before talking about how good of a player he is in person more than anything, I think the one philosophy that me and Darren want to make sure is the guys that we draft here, that we raise here, that understand what it is to be a Jet, we want to keep those men here. And it was great that Sherwood was the first guy that we both put on our resume that we signed here as a true Jet.
You know, as long as we all stick together, and, you know, we all believe that we can achieve something great, you know, we will at the end of the day.
From the outside watching Jamien, watching his ascend over his career and then getting his opportunity this past year and really flourishing and being productive, he's athletic, he can run, And then getting in the building and talking to people, staff, players, and just hearing about his leadership and the role he plays here, it was definitely a priority of AG and I to keep him around.
He fits everything about how I see defense as far as playing. He's fast, he's physical, he's violent. He loves football. He's highly competitive. He endears himself to his teammates. And man, just hearing them talk, you can clearly see that those are the traits that he has that really fits what I want as players.
Can you put into words, what this journey's been like for you, ultimately rising to become one of the top linebackers in the NFL?
The journey's just been a blessing. Again, from the day I walked into the building to the day that I hope I never leave the building, it's just been all a blessing. Again, just keeping God first, keeping my family next to me, and creating these relationships with everybody. Everybody has touched me some way, somehow, like I've said before, and, without everybody that I've been able to meet and come across on this journey, without them, this wouldn't be possible.
Good evening, I'm Theo Dorsey of ESPN 106.3, and this guy behind me, he's Jamien Sherwood, and actually, again, not him right there, that's Micah Fitzpatrick, but the other guy that's doing the ladders right there is Jamien Sherwood, officially now of the New York Jets.
Jamien Sherwood says his whole world changed today, and he's been preparing for this moment for his entire life.
With the 146th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Jamien Sherwood, linebacker from Auburn.
He is not shy about contact. He is the best tackler you will see in a long time come out of the collegiate ranks. This kid, when he gets you, you are going down.
I always thought about playing in New York. That's the Big Apple. But it don't matter what I think now. I'm a Jet.
This is ours. This is ours. The standard that we built, it is not being set right now.
Let's go. Your best right now. Your best right now.
How the f*** are you gonna respond? What the f*** are you gonna do for us to win this game? That's me included. Let's go.
Wilks is more about thinking, processing, reading. All of those things are what Sherwood does so well. So if he was a good player the last couple of years for the Jets, there's a chance moving forward he's going to be great.